As the years pass, something begins to change quietly, almost invisibly. The circle gets smaller, the phone rings less often, people move away, drift apart, or simply fade into different chapters of their own lives. At first, that silence can feel strange. We wonder if we've done something wrong, if maybe we've become less interesting or less needed. But the truth is, nothing's wrong at all. Something deeper is happening, something the world rarely talks about. We live in an age that glorifies connection. You're told that happiness means being surrounded, that the more followers, friends, and notifications you have, the more loved you must be. But what if the opposite is true? What if there's strength in having fewer voices around you? Some of the wisest, most grounded people I've ever met have only a handful of close friends, or sometimes none at all. And it's not because they failed at friendship. It's because they've grown into something deeper. Solitude, when understood, isn't loneliness. It's refinement. It's the natural result of becoming authentic, self-reliant, discerning, introspective, and wise. So today, let's talk about 5 quiet strengths that people with few friends often carry, strengths that may be invisible to the crowd but shine deeply in the soul. When you stop pretending, your world gets quieter. You stop performing. You stop agreeing just to keep the peace. You stop showing up to every gathering that drains you. And little by little, the crowd thins. But your peace grows. People with few friends are often the most authentic souls you'll ever meet. They've stopped living through the eyes of others. They no longer chase approval, attention, or validation. Instead, they follow the quiet compass of their own values. That shift comes with a cost. Not everyone stays when you start telling the truth. But what remains is real. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Authentic people have stopped borrowing colors from others. They've chosen their own shade, even if it means walking alone. There's a kind of freedom in that, in knowing that the version of you who greets the morning is the same one who lies down at night. No performance, no mask, just you, steady and unshaken. Authenticity might shrink your circle, but it enlarges your peace. There's a quiet kind of power in not needing company to feel whole. Some people panic at the thought of an empty evening. They fill every silence with sound, every space with someone. But those who have learned to be alone know that solitude isn't a void. It's self-sufficiency. When life humbles you enough times, when you've lost, rebuilt, adapted, and kept going, you learn something precious. You can rely on yourself. People who are comfortable in solitude have learned to hold their own ground. They make decisions without seeking constant reassurance. They find calm in simple rituals. A cup of coffee at sunrise, a walk at dusk, the quiet rhythm of ordinary days. An older friend once told me, "I used to hate being alone until I realized I'm pretty good company." That line has stayed with me for years. Independence isn't about closing yourself off. It's about knowing that your peace doesn't depend on anyone else's presence. You can enjoy people deeply without being defined by them. And as we grow older, and that kind of independence becomes not just a strength, but a sanctuary. In your 20s, friendships often look like crowds and laughter that echo late into the night. In your 40s, 50s, and beyond, they begin to change shape. You realize that some people were only meant for a chapter, not the whole book. Having few friends doesn't mean you're antisocial or cold. It means you've learned discernment, the art of choosing peace over pretense. You no longer let just anyone into your energy. You've learned the difference between people who recharge you and those who drain you. And that wisdom makes your social life smaller, but richer. Think of it like this. A craftsman doesn't fill his workshop with every piece of wood he finds. He selects the ones with strong grain, the kind that will hold through time and pressure. That's what mature friendship is like. A few strong connections that weather every season. It's not the quantity of faces around your table that matters, but the quality of the souls beside you. Selectivity isn't arrogance. It's a quiet form of self-respect. You stop asking, "Who likes me?" and start asking, "Who brings out the best in me?" And that shift changes everything. When the noise fades, the world within begins to speak. People who spend more time alone often discover a vast inner landscape, one filled with memory, reflection, creativity, and insight. They become students of their own mind. While others are pulled in 100 directions by distraction, the introspective person learns to sit in stillness and listen. They begin to notice the patterns of their thoughts, the roots of their habits, the lessons hiding inside their pain. Solitude becomes their teacher. It shows them where they've been avoiding themselves. It gives them the space to forgive, to heal, to realign. There's something deeply human about that quiet reckoning, about sitting with your past without flinching and still choosing to move forward. In a world obsessed with visibility, introspection is a rare superpower. It turns solitude into insight and time into understanding. When you cultivate an inner life, when your thoughts become companions instead of enemies, loneliness begins to lose its grip. You stop running from quiet because you realize the quiet was never empty. It was you, waiting to be heard. There comes a moment when being alone stops feeling like exile and starts feeling like elevation. That's when solitude transforms into growth. When you stop seeing it as something to escape and start seeing it as something to learn from. As Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Those who have walked alone have faced life's adversity head-on, and in doing so they've built quiet resilience. It's not a loud kind of strength. It's not measured in applause or attention. It's the calm steadiness that says, "I've been through worse and I'm still here." Solitude stretches you. It makes you resourceful. It teaches you that happiness can grow in silence, that wisdom can bloom in stillness, and that peace doesn't require an audience. Over time, you realize solitude isn't punishment. It's preparation for deeper awareness, for quieter joy, for a life built on your own terms. Those who have few friends often reach a kind of altitude others never see. They stand on the mountain, looking out over the world with perspective. Not bitterness. They understand life's patterns, its cycles, its impermanence, and in that understanding they find something priceless: inner peace. If these words feel familiar, if you've ever looked around and noticed how quiet your life has become, please know this: you are not alone in your aloneness. There are many of us walking this same quiet path. We are not isolated. We are refined. We've learned that meaning isn't found in how many people surround us, but in how deeply we know ourselves. Maybe your circle has grown smaller, but what remains is genuine. Maybe you've lost a few friends, but gained honesty, peace, and understanding. Maybe solitude has become your teacher, and that is nothing to be ashamed of. It's something to honor. You are not missing out on life. You are living it differently, more consciously, more truthfully, more awake. So if you walk alone, walk proudly. You are part of a quiet fellowship of souls who have learned that solitude is not emptiness, it's clarity. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your listening presence means more than words can express. If this message touched you, share it with someone who may need it. And remember, the quieter the world becomes around you, the closer you come to hearing your own heart.